morning, nerds. How you doing on this fine Saturday morning? I'm George, here with my co-host. It's not on the page, Kenny. That's what I'm looking for. There we go. Yep. Good morning, nerds. How you doing on this fine Saturday morning? I'm George, here with my co-host Rashawn. Rashawn, how you doing today?
Doing all right, y'all. Yeah. Fine Saturday morning.
Yeah, bright and early. What have you had going on this last week? What have you been watching, reading, playing?
Oh man, so watching and reading. I've been watching The Umbrella Academy. Absolutely loving it. I'm a huge comic nerd, and not having gotten this comic book, I'm a little pissed at myself and kind of want to start reading the book now. Playing The Raven. I wrote a review on it. It'll be up on the website soon, but The Raven it's slow, but it's very detailed in the ways of being a detective. And the Constable Zellner he's a bumbling idiot just trying to get his way through this mystery.
Now, going back to the Umbrella Academy, you said it's a graphic novel series?
Yes, sir. It is a graphic novel series that Gerard Way and I believe one of the guys from My Chemical Romance, maybe.
Okay.
Do that wrong, but one of them also wrote it, so it's actually really, really good. It's not your typical, superhero like the Avengers or Justice League or anything like that. It's basically like they got a whole bunch of kids together and just put them together. It's fun. It's a family show.
Yeah, I've seen it on my Netflix queue. I'll get to it at some point. Now The Raven, that's the HD remaster on the Switch, correct?
Correct.
Okay. And is that I don't want to call it a point and click story game, but it's more or less it's an interactive story, correct?
Yeah, it's an interactive story that you basically go through the train car, find out who stole the eyes of the Sphinx, which are a set of rubies that were in the museum. And I was a little iffy at first because it looked like one of those games on Walmart. When you go to Walmart and you see the whole back aisle and it's just up there and it says CD mystery games.
Yeah.
I'm absolutely loving it. It's really good.
Right on. Cool. I look forward to reading your review. I played one of those myself. We got a review code for Intruders Hide and Seek on the PlayStation VR.
First, because it looked like one of those games on Walmart. When you go to Walmart and you see the whole back aile and it's just up there and it says CD
it's a
mystery
really
games.
Short game. It took me probably 3 hours.
I'm absolutely loving it.
It's a 10-year-old boy.
It's really good.
Right on. Whose dad is some kind of forward to reading your review. I played one of those myself. The family's vacation, got a review code. Summer home, and in the middle of the night, the house is broken into by some intruders, and they take the parents hostage, and they're trying to get something from them. And you have to sneak around and you go to different rooms of the house and get things, and get into your dad's secret lab and stuff like that. There's no combat, which is interesting. And it can be quite terrifying if you when you get caught, because you can run and hide. It's not very effective though. So it was pretty cool, and the VR experience really added something to it, I think.
Oh, I bet you're immersed in that whole atmosphere. I'm sure it's it's fun.
Yeah, and you can see my review is up on the alphanerdsguild.com website right now. Again, that was Intruders Hide and Seek. Came out, it was last Friday before, something like that. I've also been playing Sea of Thieves as usual, getting close to Pirate Legends. Almost there. And I played a little bit of Crackdown 3 on the Game Pass. The game's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun. I'd never played the other Crackdowns, but it's like part Spider-Man in the traversal and part Call of Duty in that you shoot a lot of guns and explosions, and then part Hulk smash. So all with a little bit of Terry Crews thrown in there.
Yeah, how can you not like Terry Crews? That right there is enough for the game for me.
Yeah. If you got Game Pass, it's free. It's fun. You should check it out. It wasn't getting the greatest reviews, but just because a game doesn't get critical acclaim doesn't make it not fun. So I like it. A lot of people, I think, are pleasantly surprised with it. And I've also been watching Outlander. I'm almost done with the third season of that. I think they've jumped the shark, though. I don't know if I'm going to continue watching it. And I've been watching random documentary series.
Anyone in particular?
I watch a lot of the Ken Burns stuff. That guy can make a documentary, I tell you what. Have you ever seen any of his stuff?
No.
It's all on PBS. He did one of the Roosevelt's Prohibition, the Dust Bowl, World War II. One of my favorites is baseball, and instead of episodes, it's in innings. So there's 9 innings. And then I think like 10 or 15 years later, he did the extra innings for the steroids era.
Oh, nice.
He often gets Peter Coyote to narrate, and other famous celebrities to do do the voices of people. Like I think John Lithgow did FDR.
Oh.
Morgan Freeman often is on there. He gets like the top narrator voices. This guy is the Steven Spielberg of documentaries.
That's worth a watch right there, then. They're
all on Netflix. Not all of them. Most of them are on Netflix. If you just Google Ken Burns, you'll see a bunch of great stuff. This guy's really good. Mostly American history, too. So,
an extra plus. Oh.
Yeah. All right, well, let's get on to our main topic of the week, great game series. So what are some of your favorite all-time game series?
Oh, man. Gears of War is definitely up there for series. And the Batman Arkham series is also just... I can't get enough of them. I'm a story building guy, so anything with character building, anything story driven, I absolutely love. And if you're going to put more than one into a series, I'm going to love it even more. I mean, if you get the more detail into a story or more history for a character, I should say, I just can't get enough of it. So with Gears of War, it's been what? They've got 4, 5 different games right now. Gears of War
1, 2, 3, 4, and Judgment, right?
Yep.
Yeah, so 5.
And they did the deluxe edition for 1.
Yep.
Which was, oh my gosh, I can't get enough of that game. Like, I love part 1 in the first place, but the deluxe edition just being, it's more raw, the graphics are way better. It's just all around good fun. And you can't, like, I don't know, Marcus Phoenix by himself has completely driven that whole series, with the exception of, Judgment with Baird and Cole with Team Kilo.
Yep.
Which was nice. It was nice. It was refreshing to see a different aspect of the series through a different set of eyes, which I think is the reason why Gears of War 4 did so well in my eyes. I know it didn't really do as well as the rest of the series, but Gears of War 4 with JD being the son of Marcus Phoenix 25 years later, I can't get enough of it. It's a legacy thing to me. So I'm even more into it.
Yeah, and now they've got a couple coming out over the next couple years. I think there's 3 of them. There's the Funko Pop one, which seems a bit odd.
Yeah.
An RTS one, kind of like Halo Wars, and then the Gears 5. I think Gears 5 is the one supposed to come out this year. I could be mistaken.
Later on this year. No, it is. It's been rumored for the past 2 years, and now, the last thing I heard was that it's going to be third quarter this year, but no official announcement. So, kind of worried about that.
Right on. No, I thought I did hear something official about it, but I could be mistaken. Well, I'm sure we'll hear more at E3. Sorry, I just gotta do a couple things here.
No, you're good. I mean, if you like Gears of War though, and have you ever played Lost Planet?
I did. Did you see all 4 of those Lost Planet games are on Game Pass now?
I did not.
As of, I think, Thursday or Friday.
Oh, well, then that's a great segue, because in Lost Planet 2, you could play as both Marcus Phoenix and Dominique Santiago.
Really?
Yep, those are playable characters. If you got it when it first came out, you were able. They had unlockable codes, and thank goodness I still have my 360. So I actually was able to go ahead and download that.
But yeah, so they're all backwards compatible now and on Game Pass. So
that's even better.
Yeah, I don't know if the DLC like that is available, but I'll check it out.
I'm gonna give it a try.
I played a little bit of the first one, and I think I played some of 2. It really wasn't my thing. I didn't like the reloading. You got to tap the right bumper and all that. I thought the controls were a bit fishy, but it was a cool story. So
I love the story. How about you? What's a game that you like? Or what's a good series for you?
It's a very repetitive series, but they're fun in terms of gameplay, and that's Mega Man. Since the days of the original NES, I've been a huge fan of Mega Man. I went back and I started playing them again on the Switch, like Mega Man 2, 3. They're hard, and I don't know if my gaming chops aren't what they were when I was a kid, but they're just so much fun, and I like that when you beat a boss, you get his weapon, and you can use that on other bosses to defeat them sooner, and it's a illogical progression that makes sense, because you're jumping all around between different worlds, and you're getting different items, and you got to get this to get that, and I started playing Mega Man 11 on the Switch, and again, that's tough. I had to put it on the easiest setting. I love platformers. I am not good at them, though.
Oh, did you ever give Mighty Number 9 a chance?
Illogical progression that makes sense, because you're jumping all around between different worlds, and you're getting different items. Things about it. You got to get this to get that. And I was all set to get it, and then when it came out, everyone was bashing. I said, well, I'll wait for it to price drop to $10.
It's essentially Mega Man.
Yeah, that's what I've heard.
But
just not as good.
Exactly.
Progression that makes sense,
not as fun for some reason.
It doesn't have the charm. You don't. Right. Something about changing colors. So when you equip the item for Flame Man, you turn red and orange and things like that. Like, I just love it. And in Smash Brothers, when you play as Mega Man, you can choose the different colors. It's perfect.
Yeah, different costumes. Hey, you gotta love that kind of stuff, man.
Yeah.
I'm a sucker for that as well.
And the games they're not the same, but they are, because it's the same formula. And, Capcom used to pump them out like one every year and a half when we were kids.
Well, they still had the sprites and everything. They didn't really have to change much, so...
Well, exactly. Yeah, and it was much easier to engineer a game on the NES than it is on any platform these days. So.
Oh yeah.
What's another series that you're into?
Ooh, the Batman Arkham series.
Mm-hmm.
I cannot. So I'm a huge comic nerd, I've never been partial to Batman in the comics. I've always been into Batman in the other media, the movies, the games, the cartoons, and this game. Oh my gosh, the way it's done, the detail that they put into every single character, the way they've added to the entire story. I mean, you had Batman Arkham Asylum, Batman Arkham City, Batman Arkham Knight. You have Batman Arkham Origins, which I didn't. I thought that it was going to be. I don't know. I thought it was going to be essentially just everything Arkham with Origins. I ended up liking Origins more than I liked Arkham Asylum.
You know, and that's the one that gets a lot of crap because it was made by a different studio.
Yep,
it was made by a studio in Montreal. It wasn't Rocksteady. It's the one I haven't played because when it came out on the 360 PS3 era, I really wasn't playing many video games, and I want to go back. I gotta check and see if it's on the Xbox backwards compatibility. Because if it is, I really want to play that game.
I can. You know what? Where is it at? I think that one is backwards compatible.
I'll have to check on the list. But I agree that is a great series. What I really love is the way you can chain together combos, and when you get that knockout blow and it like zooms in and it goes into slow motion, and he'll like pull a guy in with his grappling hook and clothesline him. Oh, it's awesome.
It is, and I mean, it doesn't even just stop there. So, like I said, I'm a huge sucker for character building, and even just changing the appearance of the character, the different costumes.
Mm-hmm.
This game has took my money time and time again. And
I tell you, yeah,
all those costumes and even changing the Batmobile and having the side stories. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, what I really like is because I never read a lot of Batman comics. You know, I've read like The Long Halloween, a couple. I think it was Jeff Loeb did a couple in the mid '90s. I read that's about the extent of my Batman comics. But the game, especially Arkham City, introduced a bunch of villains I had never heard of, like Hush and things like that. So just to be introduced to those villains, I looked them up online, read into them. I really liked it for that aspect as well.
Yeah, they went hardcore with him. Even Azrael, which I didn't like him too much early '90s, but now going back and reading all the stuff, he's a pretty badass guy.
Yeah, I would like to see using that same engine a Nightwing game.
I would lose my mind. Cleaning up Bloodhaven would. Oh my gosh.
Oh yeah. We could only dream. Sorry, what's that?
Oh, I said, oh man, that's I know that was my other game. What other series do you like?
Actually, real quick, while we're on that topic, you said you like changing all the different costumes and stuff. Similar combat and way more costumes. Spider-Man, you need to play it, man. You need to play it.
I did just get a PS4 too.
There's over like 30 costumes in that game. Some of them, they're a bit wacky. There's one where it's all white and he's got like the Ghost Rider skull with the blue flames. I forget which one that is. And there's one where he's got like cyborg Spider-Man or something like that. But a lot of them are really cool.
Can't they just use Game of the Year edition already and I can get all that stuff with? Oh man!
I bet you this fall there will be one.
Can't wait that long.
Yeah, I really liked it. My personal favorites for the costumes were the Scarlet Spider, Spider-Man 2099, and I can't remember what the one was called, but they didn't have the symbiote suit, but it was very similar, except that everything was green instead of white. So it was black and like a glowing green.
Big Time.
I don't remember what it was called.
Yeah, I think it was when he went big time in the comic.
Might have been. Anyways, you need to play it. Yeah.
No, but I'm still debating on whether or not to get the DC app because I want to watch it and Doom Patrol. Oh.
All right. Well, thank you. I have not watched it yet, but I do need to check it out. Another game series I'm a big fan of is the Resident Evil series. And one of the most popular games of the franchise was just remade. Came out last month, Resident Evil 2. They got rid of the clunky controls and redid the graphics, and it's fun.
Well,
are you familiar with the Resident Evil series? Did you play them much?
Oh yeah, man! I got a Resident Evil series story to tell you.
Yeah, let's hear it.
Okay, part one. My friend Perry Smith let me borrow these games growing up, and to give you a little more detail on the whole thing, I used to live on 3 acres, and in the back of us was 200 acres of nothing but wood.
Mm-hmm.
So sitting in the den, and I pop in Resident Evil 1, get into the mansion, and I go to the corner, or go into the first room, and I see something move, and I'm like, what is that? I move a little closer, and it's a huge spider. Well, power down, never played Resident Evil 1 again. Because nope, Rashawn does not do spiders. So pop in Resident Evil 2. 30 minutes into that game, and I get into the police station where you're going down this long corridor.
Mm-hmm.
2:00 in the morning, nothing but woods behind me. And going down this long corridor, and a zombie crashes through the window. I was 16 at the time, but you would have thought I was an 8-year-old girl. I screamed so loud, woke up everybody in the house. I almost cried my pants. But that got me into the game, so I ended up beating the game later on that week.
Yeah, they're fun games. So I played 2, and then I think the next one I played was 4, and there's several that came out in between. Didn't really have time to play when I was in the Army, because I was a cadet most of the time, so I was busy doing schoolwork. But 4, so I had it on the GameCube and the Wii, and I have it on the Xbox One. I've played through that game so many times, and I don't know. That to me was almost the pinnacle of game making. The only issue I had is you can't move and shoot. So then that got me hooked, and I started playing 5. I played 6. Did not care for 6. I played 7. I'm tempted to get 7 again now that I have a PlayStation VR, so that I can play through it on that. But I don't know if I really want to soil myself or not. I mean, I know I don't, but let's be honest. It's kind of a frightening game.
Oh yeah, I never played Resident Evil 4. I had it on GameCube, but at the same time I had WrestleMania, so that wasn't Resident Evil wasn't getting any play. Yeah. But was it a good story? Because I've never.
Yeah, so 4, you're in, I think, somewhere in South America, and I think it's like the president's daughter got kidnapped.
As she does.
And I really liked it because it's a good combination of, like, it was the first one where they really brought in action elements to the forefront in the series, but there still are some really good puzzles. You really should check it out. I know you can get it on PlayStation and Xbox One. Yeah, it's one of them games, if you keep an eye on the weekly sales, you can probably get it for $10 or less at some point throughout the year. It's worth checking out if you've never played it. They remastered it. And then I played the remake, that came out last month, and I really liked that. So
that game was already so good that making it again, or not making it again, but remastering it had to be done.
Yeah, it did. And now there are talks of remaking 3 and 4, which, okay, all right, I'm in.
Take my money.
All right, and now a quick word from our sponsor, Grill Your Ass Off.
Claymore Cajun seasoning? The fuck do I put that on?
Everything.
All
right, and we are back. So yeah, Resident Evil, it's one of my all-time favorite series. It pretty much goes out saying when a new game is announced, I'm going to get it. Now, here's the question, because I think 4-0 and another one, they're coming to the Switch this year. Do I get them again? That is the question. Yes. All right. And my all-time favorite game series, and I've been thinking about writing an article on this series, is The Legend of Zelda. And what I like about The Legend of Zelda is the critics say, well, it's everything's the same. You go through dungeons, you fight Ganon, you rescue the princess. Okay, at its bones, sure. But every game brings some new element to the franchise. Whether it be the Ocarina of Time, you can go from old Link to young adult to young Link, or Majora's Mask, where you have to jump back through time because you've got the 72 hours to do everything before the moon crashes down. Or one of my favorites is A Link Between Worlds on the 3DS. Have you played that?
I've seen gameplay because I just want to know more of the story, and I never had a 3DS, so I randomly go through YouTube and actually look at gameplay just to get more of the story.
It's fun. So it's the top-down, traditional 8-bit and 16-bit style Zelda dungeon diver, but you can also use this bracelet to turn into a painting and walk around walls. And it just adds another element to the series that makes it unique. But what I really like about it is because it's the same thing, it's a sense of familiarity. You're going to get the hook shot, the boomerang, the bow, the bombs. What order you're going to get them, you don't know. But you know what they do, but with each game, Nintendo comes up with creative ways to use them. So, and, just last week they announced that Link's Awakening is coming to the Switch this year. And I remember playing that on the original Game Boy. And it was hard. I eventually beat it. I can't wait to play it again. It's in my list. Probably my top 5 Zelda games.
I was gonna say something about that because that game, I saw the release and I was like, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Time to go ahead and start from part 1 again.
Yeah. The graphics look cartoony. I don't care. It looks awesome to me.
Same here.
All right, so I take it you're a fan of the Zelda series as well?
I am a huge fan of the Zelda series. I got into Zelda not through the game, though. I got through the NES cartoon.
I remember that.
Yeah, I remember that. We recently went back and tried to find them again. We got the whole Super Mario 3 and all that, but that and the Captain N and the Game Master got me into Zelda, so I really like the Zelda series. Based on that, and Ocarina of Time is one of my favorite all-time games.
Yeah. Now, again, that's another one. So, I think that came out in 99, 2000. I had an N64, but because of what I was doing in the army, I didn't have time to play it. So I know I got to the water dungeon, which is often regarded as one of the more difficult ones. I don't remember if I ever beat it. I beat that dungeon. I know I didn't beat the game. But I did, and I had Majora's Mask, same idea. I got Majora's Mask on the 3DS because I really enjoyed it. I went back and I beat that. And I've thought about doing it again for the Ocarina of Time. My apprehension is that I don't like that little thumb nub on the 3DS, and it makes the gameplay kind of difficult. So I'm hoping and praying that it gets released on the Switch at some point.
I don't see why it wouldn't. That game, when you think back on the 64, there are 3 games that you think of. Ocarina of Time, 007, and Mario. That's what you think of.
Yep.
That game has to be remade.
Yeah, and I believe it's been. I know it was on the Wii, and I think they put it on the Wii U as well. So I'm hoping they do. They just wait another year or two into the Switch's life cycle. And I never had the Wii U, so I never played Skyward Sword. I didn't care for the controls on Wii, so I never finished Twilight Princess. But all the old school Zelda games, I absolutely loved. There were a couple on the Game Boy Color, the Oracle of Seasons and Oracle of Ages. Those games are great. Excuse me. Mm-hmm. And Breath of the Wild is probably in my top 5 all-time favorite games.
I like seeing the mods of that game. It's always fun seeing Woody or Goku
flying. I have not seen those. That's crazy. Have you played Breath of the Wild yet?
I have not. When Breath of the Wild came out, I wasn't into gaming as much.
Yeah.
Just too much work going on, so I have to go back and I have to play it.
I think it's on sale right now, digitally. Yeah, I think for $45. And Nintendo games rarely go on sale.
True.
So, what I really like and what Breath of the Wild brought to the franchise that was new was several things. The Sheikah Slate, where you get powers, including the bombs. That was interesting. That you had the bombs from the get-go. Whereas in other games, previous entries in this series, you have to find them in a dungeon and so forth. But the way you can traverse in that game is unique. Not only with the glider, you can surf down a mountain on a shield.
That did look really awesome.
Another thing that I found that you can do, I saw online and I was like, I gotta try this, is use I forget what the ability is, the Time Stopper ability, on, say, like a giant boulder, and you beat the crap out of it with a hammer. And right before the timer stops, you grab a hold of the boulder, and all that kinetic energy will get released, and it'll shoot the boulder off flying and with you on it. And it's awesome. You can fly like a quarter across the map if you beat it enough and just grab a hold, and you get the right trajectory. It's stuff like that is just awesome. So
I had to look at it then because I like stuff like that.
Yeah, it's definitely a game you should check out.
Oh, man.
All right. Let's move on to our monthly topic. We got shows of yesteryear. And this is where we're talking about shows that we grew up watching, that we really love, and they're timeless. So why don't you take the first one?
I'm going to go nerd again. There was a series I loved called Mighty Max. I think I touched on it a little bit a couple episodes ago, but Mighty Max is always going to be there. You had this kid that at first he looks like just this little regular punk kid that doesn't give a crap about anything, and then he meets up with Virgil and Norman, which Virgil's he looks like an owl, but he ends up being Max's mentor through the whole series. And he knows pretty much where every portal is, and he knows all about history because he's been through it already. Then you have Norman, who's seemingly immortal, who's gone through time, and he was at one point known as Hercules. So you come to find out that Norman was actually Hercules, and that the stories of Hercules were pretty real. Then you got the rest of the cast. You got Thor was in there, which is his pet iguana.
I've never heard of this show.
Really?
Never heard of it. I have no idea what you're talking about.
Oh, it's so good. So they have portals where they do time travel, and they create paradoxes, which is insane.
No, I'm looking it up right now. No.
Yep. Oh, man. Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, you had Skullmaster. Skullmaster was played by Tim Curry. He was one of the best villains I've ever seen in my life. He does. He looks like if Skeletor didn't lose all the skin in his face. And yeah, just, oh my gosh. He's one of those people that he doesn't care if it's a kid. He's gonna kill him. He's trying to kill him. You had the Arachnoids, the Lava Lord. The Lava Lord episodes were fun. They had the toys after they came out that were just, the little playsets, little pocket playsets, almost like Polly Pocket, except geared towards kids or towards boys. Oh yeah. Oh, I love those things. Yep.
Yeah, I just looked it up. I've never heard of that show.
You need to watch it as soon as you can. They have it all over YouTube. You can watch, I think, like all 40 episodes.
Yeah.
Oh, is it? Man, I'm about to go. I mean, but it wasn't even just that. I mean, it spawned, like you said, it had all those toys. It had the Happy Meal toys. It had video games. I don't know if anybody remembers the game on Super Nintendo. Yep, and Sega. I think I had it on. I think I had it on Super Nintendo. I may have seen it on Sega, but I'm not sure. I'm gonna have to go back and look at that. But I mean, the whole series was great, and it was gosh, who was he? God, it had so many what's called voices. So many
voice actors.
So many voice actors. Yeah, yeah, exactly. Oh, which he was huge in Ninja Turtles. He did what Raphael and he did. There you go. Such a great show. Yeah. Oh, yep. Brother on Everybody Loves Raymond.
Huh.
Oh yeah, he's
yeah.
also
I've never heard of the show.
Oh, give it a look, man.
I have thought you were making this up, to be honest. Like that's how completely foreign this is to me.
Well, since you're a huge Star Trek fan, which we're about to get into, also Kate Mulgrew was in the show.
Was she?
Yeah, she was in the Egyptian episode. She played Isis. Not to be confused with ISIS, but she played Isis.
The Egyptian goddess.
Right.
Sorry, I'm just petting my cat. He's got a couple mats. He needs to get trimmed soon. Yeah, look at him. So yeah, one of my favorite shows of yesteryear is Star Trek. Now, we're on the sixth series, I guess, if you want to. It's the original, the animated, TNG, DS9, Voyager, Enterprise. So we're on the 7th series, Discovery. I grew up watching The Next Generation somewhat, but really Deep Space Nine. And Deep Space Nine is my all-time favorite. In fact, I named this guy behind me Sisko after the meanest captain in all of Starfleet. And people, they want to talk about how great Jean-Luc is. Jean-Luc never punched Q. The first thing Sisko did when he saw Q was pop him right in the mouth.
That's what you do, man. That's what you've been done in the first place.
Picard never punched me. I'm not Picard. Star Trek it's just such a great series, and you've got the different planet every week in The Next Generation, a little bit in Deep Space Nine with that, but the Deep Space Nine really gets into especially with the Dominion War, just like a dramatized space program where every week the story ties in, boom, 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 and it's consecutive for seasons. Voyager had that as well to a certain extent. And I tell you what, I'm pretty much always watching Star Trek, one of the Star Trek series at some point or another throughout the week. They are. It's a separate timeline. So you've got the Prime timeline and then the Kelvin timeline, they call it.
Sorry, guys.
That's all right.
I was trying to get something because I know that you're a Star Trek fan, so trying to get something real quick to show you. that I had totally forgot about until now. But, okay. I have still in the box.
Oh, wow.
And still sealed.
Oh, wow. That's awesome. So I see you as well are a fan of the Star Trek.
First Contact, Generations, because who can't own Generations? Insurrection. Dude, I got more that I will eventually find to show you.
Nice. What's your favorite Star Trek series?
My favorite Star Trek series, would it be blasphemous to say the Orville?
Well, that's not Star Trek, but
it was, well, before Discovery came out, it was essentially Star Trek.
Oh, it's inspired by, but there's no Starfleet.
Very true. I would say,
but Seth MacFarlane was in a couple episodes of Enterprise.
Was he?
Yes, season 4. He plays one of the crewmen. Enterprise probably has some of the most cameos, not only from old Star Trek actors like Ethan Phillips and what's his name, Armin Shimerman and Jeffrey Combs, Rene Auberjonois. I'm sure I butchered his name. He's in one. But they also had guys like Seth MacFarlane. Who else? There's someone else I saw in there. Voyager had a lot of cameos too by other celebrities that you wouldn't expect to be in Star Trek. Tom Morello is in an episode of Voyager from Rage Against the Machine. He's one of the science officers or science crewmen in like steerage of the ship down at the bottom, and the captain comes down there, and like apparently Captain Janeway never came down to that section, so he's like, "Oh, good morning, ma'am." You know, something like that. He's got a line or two. The King of Jordan is in an episode of Voyager. He was in town when they were shooting, and apparently was a big fan. And he's just a guy in a hallway, and he says good morning to the captain. Jason Alexander was an episode of it. Michael McKean. A lot of famous actors are in there. My all-time favorite cameo, though, in any Star Trek is Iggy Pop in an episode of Deep Space Nine as a Vorta.
I did not see that for sure.
It's so it's the episode where they kidnap Quark's mother. I think it's called the Mighty Ferengi. And he's the Vorta in charge of the Jem'Hadar that kidnaps Quark's mom. And there's a line or two where he's talking to her about like moisturizers for hand cream or something, like, for soft skin. And I remember the first time I was eating Cheerios and I'm watching it and I'm like, hello, Khalees. And I like spit out my Cheerios. I'm like, that's Iggy Pop.
Oh man, I definitely did not see that episode.
You should go back and check it out. I want to say it's in season 6, I believe. I'll find it and it's on Netflix. I'll send you the info on it. But I don't like Star Trek because of the cameos. I really like the universe they created. There's so much depth because it's not just about Starfleet. You've got the Romulans, you've got the Klingons, you've got the Ferengi, the Cardassians.
The Kardashians?
Yeah. You know, and the Dominion. They starting with Gene Roddenberry's vision, they really took it and ran with it and have expanded on it. And I feel like now it's more popular than it ever was.
Oh, yeah.
Because for a long time, it was not cool to be a Trekkie.
Oh, no.
But now it is. Now it is. So. Oh, it's cool. It's cool. Star Trek.
See, I hate that because I love the Star Wars games, but I also love the Star Trek universe in general.
Bloodsport.
only John we have is Jean-Claude Van Damme. Speaking of Jean-Luc Picard, though, I saw that he's coming back.
Yes, he is. Now, I think a lot of people need to understand this is not going to be the Next Generation 2.0.
Right.
And I have a feeling this is going to fall into the same category as Fallout 76, where the people that make it are saying this is what it's going to be, and people are not paying attention to that, and they expect it to be something else, and they're going to be disappointed when it's not. So I think people need to come, like, if you're watching what's going on with the new Star Trek series there with Captain Picard, understand it is not on the Enterprise. It is not Star Trek 2.0. I think it's going to be when he's a diplomat after he's retired from Starfleet. So
really,
I think so. It ended in 92, 94, somewhere around there. Oh yeah. It's been. Yeah, no, I agree. But my fear is that people that aren't really doing the research on the show are expecting it just to pick up where Nemesis left off. It's not going to happen.
Yeah.
It's that Earl Grey tea.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, Deep Space Nine's my favorite Star Trek series. I really like that it's that continuous story where it's not necessarily 3-part episodes, but one episode ties into the next. And if you miss one, it may not have an impact right away, but 4 or 5 episodes down the line, you might not understand what's going on. So they brought back Worf too, and that's pretty.
I mean, that's a plus 20 points right there.
Yeah. So, and honestly, what a lot of people, the naysayers don't want to admit that we learned the most about the Klingons, the Cardassians, and the Ferengi in Deep Space Nine.
See, I have not watched. I think I've watched maybe 3 episodes, maybe, of Deep Space Nine. So I'll have to give it another look.
You really are missing out. Now, I don't know exactly what happened, but sometime around season 3, when Sisko shaved his head and then he grew the goatee, I don't know if they gave Avery Brooks more control over the character and the storylines, but he became much more badass, and that's when it really shifted. So I'm not saying the first 2.5 seasons are bad, but they're missing something that you get towards the end of season 3 and then into season 4. And I think a lot of it had to do with Avery Brooks. Another reason I really like it is him and his son, they love baseball, and they go to the holodeck and play baseball against Bob Gibson and Babe Ruth and Willie Mays. I love that. Because I'm a big baseball fan. So I like that, when they talk about, I hit Gibson's curveball. Just things like that I love. And also with Sisko, with Benjamin and Jake Sisko, it's a father-son story, and he's a single parent. Like, that wasn't touched on. It's touched on tangentially with Worf and Alexander in The Next Generation. But that's like one of the core elements of that is actually a family. You don't have that in the other Star Trek series. So, and being on Deep Space Nine, it's all taking place on one spot. You're not skipping around. Like, there's a lot of recurring themes. Anyways, let's move on. We got some video game news, and nerd news, upcoming games, stuff like that. What do you got? You want to talk about?
I was going to bring up Link's Awakening, but we'd already talked about it, so
I cannot wait. My guess is that's going to be a December release.
Yeah, probably.
So, just like Smash Brothers was. Either that or it's going to be November, and then December will be Pokemon. But Nintendo's got a pretty healthy lineup coming up this year. I don't know if you've noticed all the other stuff. So
Oh, the Spotlight's just insane. Every month, the Spotlight is just getting better and better.
Yeah. Especially when its two competitors don't really have much coming out this year. So.
Yeah. I mean, they have that exclusives. True. They have the Travis Strikes Back coming out, which is the No More Hero.
That's sequence. Already out. That came out last month. Yeah, it did not do well.
Really?
It did not.
Well, I mean, it did look like it was way different from last.
Yeah.
It was like it changed different. It looked like it changed.
It's different games. Yeah. Yeah. So there's like racing, there's platforming, there's action. So, but I mean, this year we've got Yoshi's Crafted World coming out next month. I'm sure I'm going to miss some. We've got Marvel Ultimate Alliance coming out this summer. You've got July 26th. You've got Fire Emblem 3 Houses. We've got Animal Crossing that's been dated for this year. Luigi's Mansion.
Super excited about that.
Pokemon Gen 8, Link's Awakening. Mario Maker 2 is coming out in June.
Mm-hmm.
Astral Chain, which is the Platinum Games exclusive, is coming out in August. There's like 4 or 5 other exclusives. But yeah, but that's on the PlayStation.
Oh.
On the PlayStation. Yeah, Mortal Kombat 11 is coming out April 20th, which will also be on the Switch.
That's weird.
Yeah. What's interesting about the show is Bryce Harper's on the cover, and he still is an unsigned free agent. Which is why on the cover he's just wearing like a white baseball hat and a white hoodie. Unless it happened, or after 6 o'clock last night to this morning, I haven't seen anything. Manny Machado signed with San Diego. Let me take a look here. I don't see anything. Okay. This week, I'm going to butcher his name. Reggie Fils-Aimé from Nintendo of America announced his retirement effective in April. Did you hear about that?
When we were talking about it the other day, and I was like, man, really?
Yeah, he's been the face, for those of you who don't know, the face of Nintendo America for, I think, 20 years or so. Most of our lives.
Yeah, definitely the most recognized Nintendo face.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. And hardcore Nintendo fans recognize Miyamoto and a couple others, but Reggie was the face of Nintendo America. And did you hear who's replacing him?
I did not.
His name is Doug Bowser. Yes, Bowser is taking over Nintendo.
Oh my gosh. I bet you they're going to have fun with that.
Yeah, no, a lot of people, I've heard people concerned because he came from EA. One thing you got to keep in mind, Nintendo of America is a subsidiary of Nintendo. I think most of the major decisions are made in Japan, not in the US.
Let's hope that it stays that way, because I do not want to start paying for random stuff that I never had to pay for before.
But, yeah, so Nintendo's going to have a new face here soon, coming up for E3, so.
Bowser's in the castle.
He is.
It's horrible.
What else is coming out that you want to talk about?
Locally, I mean, there's just conventions that I'm looking for. We have a bunch of conventions coming up. One of them being Fan Expo, where the cast of Overwatch is going to be there. So I'm trying to get brushed up on my Overwatch history and try that out. Because I'm really excited about that.
Overwatch?
I've never played it. I've seen it and it looks interesting, but I've never played it. So, looking forward to playing it.
Yeah, it's fun. I played it, the first couple months it was out. I liked it. It's cool. I lost interest in it after a couple months. It's kind of repetitive, and they've added characters, but yeah, you can get it dirt cheap now, I'm sure.
Even better, because I'm not in the business for spending a lot of money.
Yeah, same here. Yeah, I'm going to PAX East next month. I'm really excited about that.
So lucky.
I got a press pass, So I bought a ticket because I didn't want to miss it, and then I got the press pass, so I've got an extra ticket now. So if anyone wants to go to PAX East for the 4 days, let me know. But yeah, so I got a press pass, which means, I will have to write articles for the website, and I'll probably throw up some videos on the group page. But I have to work for the press pass, so that's, which I'm okay with. I'm cool. But what I like is that one of the days, I guess I get in early, like an hour or so I can beat some of the lines and go check out some of the games that are coming out. I'm really excited. I've never not only been to a PAX, I've never been to a video game convention like this. So it's really excited. I'm hoping to get the name of Alpha Nerds Guild out there, help further the cause. So yeah. Sure. So one of our main missions is buying video game consoles for veterans and first responders with PTSD and other psychological issues to get them into the gaming community so that they can interact with other people and have an outlet for anger and stress and someone to communicate with so that they don't commit suicide, because that it used to be 22 a day. I think it's now down. We're down to 20. We're trying to get that number down to none a day, and any little bit we can do, any ground we can make up is good. So we're trying to get more people engaged in the gaming community to talk about their issues. And in addition, we have the private group on Facebook where we created a gaming community. So people, from all walks of life can join and find people to play Apex Legends with, Fortnite, Minecraft, RuneScape, whatever your soup du jour is, video games. You can find like-minded people. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. We're here to talk. There's plenty of people that are here. It's a good community. I enjoy it. I met some of my best friends through Alpha Nerds Guild. So, yeah. I know. I've got a face for podcasting. and cats. Yeah. Well, yeah. They love me because I'll say the T word and they can get the T word. TREAT. No. I can't say it because this one especially will then start going nuts. So I have to spell it out. All right. Any other upcoming news, video games, movies, comic books you want to talk about?
Captain Marvel, March 8th.
Right on. I don't know if I've told you why I've kind of lost interest in the Marvel movies. No. When it started with X-Men and Spider-Man. We're talking the original X-Men and the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man movies. You'd get one, maybe two a year, so they were special. Now it's like we're drinking from the fire hose, and to me, they've lost the charm. So I'll watch them years later. Like when they're on Netflix, that's when I'll watch them.
I can see that to a certain extent.
It's too much.
I'm more excited just to see the characters on the big screen. Looking at my dad when he was growing up, he didn't have those characters.
Yeah,
like he had them in comic book form, and like the closest he ever got was what, Conan,
or the Christopher Reeves Superman movies, maybe.
Oh yeah, even those. Like my dad wasn't a huge DC fan, but I mean, for me, well,
yeah, the Lou Ferrigno show.
True. I mean, but you don't have them on the same scale like as we do now.
Yeah.
I feel like later on in life we're going to take those for granted later. I feel like so. I'm enjoying them while they come out. You're one of 10 people. Oh no, not them people. 10 people. I agree. No, I actually enjoyed Batman vs Superman.
I haven't seen it yet. I will. I am going to see Spider-Man: Far From Home though this summer because it's Spider-Man and he's my favorite. But yeah, we're about out of time, so I just want to touch base on a couple upcoming A&G events. We've got Game with Peers support tonight on. They're going to play Apex Legends. If you go to the Alpha Nerds Guild group, there's an announcement about it. They're going to be in Discord. 7 p.m. Eastern Time, 6 p.m. Central, I believe. We've also got Free For All Friday. We got the weekly recap, and your streamer of the month is Dagger for Hire. So go check Dagger for Hire out on Twitch. And I think that's it for this week. Is there anything else you want to talk about?
That was it.
All right. Well, nerds. Go ahead, Kenny. All right, nerds. Well, thanks for joining us. Everyone have a good weekend.
Later, y'all.